Yeah, there we go.
I'm never gonna be done. Lean on in. Now welcome to the queendom, where the kings bow down and relinquish the crown. Y'all gon' hit me now. I just turned that around.
Shake your head, but it was the biggest takeaway from Raw. Stephanie McMahon returns.
It really was. Oh, did the headphone jack come undone? Oh, darn. I'm going to keep playing that because that was catchy.
I was going to say that was a very abrupt.
There we go. Yeah, the headphone jack came out, so we can fix that. There we go. Yeah.
I mean, I love Stephanie. I always think she always brings something special. So I'm glad to see her back, being the bitch that we know and love. And, she was pretty much the highlight of Raw because Raw had some moments that are very fucking questionable, and the writing team needs to be addressed. Hashtag Bobby Lashley, Sami Zayn segment.
Wait, did you hear the one? Wait, did you hear the fucking Alexa Bliss?
No, what did she say?
Oh God, it was about the Romans and the Visigoths. And I'll have to.
Oh my God,
it.
yes.
It was terrible. It was awful. They made her read some high school book report about the Roman army and the element of surprise. It was awful.
I must have been taking a piss or something because I missed that.
I caught everything on clips from the internet because I saw Deadpool 2 last night. I made the right choice.
Yeah.
If there was a Raw to miss, it was definitely this one. Although to be fair, there were some good parts of Raw, of course. I mean, in 3 hours, you got to have a few.
Everybody realized how much more money they're going to be making, and they just said, "Fuck it, we're taking the night off."
But but listen, we have a lot to cover. I mean, we've got to go over Raw. We got to go over SmackDown. We got Fox. 5-year $1 billion deal to take SmackDown live now on Fridays. We have to address the rumor that they are going to be extending the length of pay-per-views now and making them all 4 hours. We need to address this. We have to address the rumor that SmackDown Live may be going 3 hours. We're going in the wrong direction, people. We have a lot of shit to cover, and unfortunately, Kat is going to be possibly popping in. Unfortunately, Autumn is sick again. Autumn, we hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Ryan, the intern, who the fuck knows? He comes. Usually he drops in. And Eric, once again, is having issues with his computer. I don't know if he's going to try and come on.
Eric is having some rough luck recently, huh?
I'll tell you what, man. The kid can't catch a fucking break.
I know, man. I feel bad because he almost got slapped with a $700 doctor bill.
Oh my God!
Just out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna get a $700 doctor bill." It's like,
and Eric did say that the app is crashing on his phone, and he will not be on the show this evening. So it's just the three of us.
All right,
the three amigos.
The Can-Am connection over here. All right, good. So yeah, I'm gonna find that thing about Alexa Bliss. I'm gonna go on the Reddit app and see.
God,
that was bad.
Was this like was this in the ring?
No, it was backstage.
Where the fuck was I? Because I watched Raw.
She was talking with one of the robots backstage. One of the cyborgs. You can
so clearly see her reading because no one's memorized.
They had somebody over here. You have to make sure you read all of these lines right. It's the Visigoths against the Romans. Okay, I spent a lot of time on this.
Jesus but that's the thing. Like, when are they gonna learn that
they just signed a $1 billion deal? They learned nothing and profited from it.
But here's when are they gonna learn that
never
the best segments and the best promos are done when they're not having to read something? It's something that you give them bullet points and they make it their own. Those are the best ones. Now, granted, there are only certain superstars that are given the blessing from Vince and whoever that they are allowed to take it and make it their own. And there are some that are told they have to memorize whatever they put in front of them, and that's the way it is. But from what it sounds like, and granted, I haven't seen it, but that sounds like that segment was another train wreck, one of many on the show.
Yeah, that's yeah. Hey, Ryan made it.
There he is.
Just in time for I'm taking the Sami Zayn segment.
No, Alexa Bliss.
We're addressing Alexa Bliss, which apparently even though watched all of Raw, I missed this, which apparently is not a bad thing.
No, I'm trying to find it. That's so. It was so bad. It was put on Reddit, and then I think it's just been buried. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna Google it because this will probably exist if I Google Alexa Bliss Visigoth promo, because it has to exist. It's so ridiculous. She started talking about the fucking Visigoth. Ryan, were you there for this? Did you? Please tell me me and Amanda aren't the only ones that heard this, because Steve didn't hear it.
Refresh my memory here.
Alexa Bliss started talking about Visigoths and the Romans.
Oh yeah, that was kind of awkward, to say the very least.
Hey, Eric made it.
Hey, he made it. Geez, the gang's all here except for Kat.
He lied to us.
I know.
Although we still can't hear him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We'll just see his reactions.
You should write down and hold up signs.
You'll be the sign guy.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I'm
the
okay
Roar
with, I'm
Report
actually
sign
okay
guy.
with that. Can we do that?
We got to seriously figure out how to fix his computer, because he's having this issue every week, and apparently the phone is crapping out on him too. So we gotta. He should mail his computer, physically mail his computer to Ryan.
Or just have Ryan log into it.
Yeah, virtually, do a go-to meeting or something.
Yeah.
Here it is. I found it. Oh, I knew I was gonna find it. Eric, everybody be prepared for this. Come on, load. Oh, it's so close to loading. Here it is. Oh God.
Alexa, up next, you're going one-on-one against your fellow Money in the Bank ladder match competitor, Ember Moon. Now, given that during Ember's Raw debut, she actually defeated you in a tag team match, are you at all concerned going into this match that... I'm sorry, did you bring me here to talk about ancient history? Here's some history for you. 410 AD Rome, the greatest city the world has ever seen, was sacked by barbarian Visigoths. Now, the Roman army was far superior than the Visigoths. And if it were a fair fight, the Romans would have won. But it wasn't a fair fight. The Visigoths had a weapon, the Romans didn't. The element of surprise. Ember Moon's Raw debut was no different. I didn't even know who she was. So how was I supposed to prepare for her? But tonight will be a fair fight, and the Romans and Alexa will win.
The Romans!
I'll tell you right now, the person that wrote that is the same person that wrote the Sami Zayn Bobby Lashley. And that person, I'm sorry, needs to be wished the best in their future endeavors, because that was absolutely stupid.
One of them had a mustache. I'm really surprised. I'm surprised GLAAD or another one of those organizations didn't jump on it for being anti-trans people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm just saying it's we live in a different time, and men dressed as women with mustaches is a whole different venue we have to stray into now. But that bombed. I'm so glad I didn't watch Raw live. I almost stayed home. I almost didn't go see Deadpool, and I would have made the wrong choice.
I chose wisely.
Yeah, well, like I said, if there was a Raw that you were going to miss and just kind of play catch up, it would have definitely been that one. Although, again, as I said, there were some strong moments. So we did have the return of Stephanie McMahon, which, that's always gets a mixed reaction from the internet crowd. Eric already given the thumbs down. I always think Stephanie brings something special to the table. I love Steph. So I was glad to see her back and be bitchier than ever. And I like how she is the one that ran the contract signing for Ronda and Nia, which I think we should talk about, because I just can't for the life of me get excited for this match. It's just what happens here? I mean, does Ronda lose or does Ronda become the champion? And she's not, and listen, she has said it herself.
Stephanie's involved again, so I don't think Ronda's going to end up winning.
Well, right. See, I think this is Stephanie pushing for this match so that Nia just demolishes Ronda as kind of a payback. But then we're turning Nia heel again because...
Yeah, because convenience. Yeah, I don't know. I feel
because there's people aren't going to cheer Nia over.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's just none of it. It's all wrong. It's all wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't. The reason why I keep saying the last couple weeks, if this match is going to happen this week and last week, since it was announced, the thing that I was saying was there's some kind of screwy finish. There has to be a screwy finish because none of this benefits
anyone.
Again,
the only thing it does is it brings star power to the pay-per-view. For advertising and everything, because you have Ronda facing somebody for a title. So, that's a big deal.
Then put the belt on somebody who can fucking wrestle Ronda.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, and I know that was part of the storyline that she's trying to prove she's not lazy. I'm not saying she's lazy. She's not lazy. She's a very hard worker. And it has nothing to do with her size or anything. It is strictly, not on look or whatever. It's strictly on wrestling ability. If Ronda's going to wrestle somebody in her first feud for the women's championship, it should be somebody that is a veteran that can keep the match going, because Nia is still too green.
Now, I don't know if this is a sign of what's to come, but I'm starting to think that Natty
cashes in on Ronda,
wins Money in the Bank, and Natty will, if Ronda wins the title, Natty's going to turn on Ronda, cash in, and take the title from her, and that's going to start that, because they've been spending a lot of time focusing on what good friends they are and how they train together and how they hang out together and this and that. So that's a build for a big turn for Natty to go back to being heel and turn on Ronda. So
yeah, because I could honestly give a shit about Natty in general.
Or does Natty be the? I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's fine.
Maybe this is Natty that's going to fuck up the finish and say there's no way Ronda's going to come in and her second match out going to get the title before me and cost her the match.
Or she could Seth Rollins it and just put herself in the match.
That's true too.
So,
but she's in the Money in the Bank match. She's not going to be in both matches.
Yeah. But you don't know. I mean, there could be a situation where there's like a interference or a double down, or somebody's in a compromising position. Like one person's out of the ring and the other person's knocked out in the ring, and she runs down and wants to enter the match. And then all of a sudden, I don't know. Because if they wanted to play it like initially have Ronda, not Ronda, but
Natty.
Name. Thank you. Natty. Thank you, Ryan. So Natty, she's so boring. I don't even remember her name. It's bad. It's a bad sign. But here's what I'm saying: if she enters herself in as the third person, she really is, and I give her a pass because of her dad and all that stuff too. So I don't dislike her. I just think that she needs to get to the point where Tyson Kidd got, where he was wearing those headphones and he knew what he was doing. She needs to get to that, because she's just wearing cat ears and she just looks like a crazy person. But Natty, if she inserted herself as the third person in the match, it could almost be like Michael Cole, like, oh my God, she's in here, she's going to help Ronda win, blah, blah, blah. And then do something fluky where Natty ends up getting the win and wins the championship, and they play it off like was it intentional or was it accidental? And she like still plays friends with Ronda until like, a SummerSlam where they reveal in the build of SummerSlam that it was right. So it feels like you and I are on the same wavelength here, Steve. Something is going to send Natty and Ronda colliding into some sort of match. But
I hate to say it, but I just hope that the person that's writing how this is going to go is not the same person that wrote the Bobby Lashley Sami Zayn segment.
The only way
to keep going back to that.
Oh, absolutely, because we will talk about three men in dresses. We're not going to skip over that. But do we have? Oh, I heard some noise. I thought maybe we had Eric back.
No, I think he gave up.
He gave up. Darn it.
It might be my dog snoring.
Oh, okay. So, but I heard something. I was like, oh, good. Maybe we have another voice in the room. But no, he's not here. That was real funny to see Eric in like a fishbowl for a little while. He couldn't respond. But Natty, here's the thing. What if the only way this really works to me? What if Ronda bell rings, Ronda rushes Nia, takedown, armbar, taps her out in fucking 10 seconds. Natty has already won the women's Money in the Bank earlier in the night. Natty comes out to celebrate with Ronda, confetti, all that bullshit, hits her in the back of the head with the briefcase. Referee 1, 2, 3. We do Ronda beats Nia the way you would expect Ronda to beat Nia in real life, and then you've got the turn by Natty so that Ronda gets screwed and doesn't have to, she loses the belt, but she didn't really lose, kind of deal. Somewhere in there, I feel we're in the
Also, she doesn't have an undefeated streak.
Yeah, let's not go back to the undefeated streak thing. Especially for somebody who lost their last 2 fights in the UFC and the streak. The whole idea of her UFC run was an undefeated streak, and then as soon as they lost 2, they lost interest in it. So
I agree with everything that you said. I agree with everything that you said, except for it cannot be a squash. Ronda can't squash Nia in 3 minutes. It can't happen. It's not fair to Nia. Nia's going to have a showing. If she's going to drop the title already, which I'm hoping she doesn't, because I don't think she should, and I don't think Ronda should be champion yet.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? But it can't be a squash. I mean, that just hurts Nia in so many ways that I don't know that she would necessarily be able to come out of. I really don't.
And again, this is what we get back to the Eric said something the other day, and I'm going to tie this all back in to the same thing. We were talking about the Roman Reigns push, and now because of Fox paying WWE $1 billion, they're basically going to do whatever they want with Roman Reigns because they really don't need the crowd to be behind it. They don't give a shit. They're making the money they're going to make. People are still going to come and watch the shows, etc. So, and then Eric said something along the lines of, I wish they would have just pulled the trigger already and did, the Roman Reigns push, blah, blah, blah. But again, we look at these things as if they are foregone. This stuff can and should change on a weekly basis. The ideas and the feuds and the gimmicks and all that. They pick up stuff and throw it away and air it or don't air it and shoot stuff one week and forget about the next week so much that why don't they try a little bit of a change in direction? Why is Roman Reigns pushed such a foregone conclusion? Why is now because they wrote themselves into it is the answer, but like Nia Ronda, it didn't need to happen. So we're talking about all of these alternatives and ways to make it work. What they need to look at is if it's not going to work, don't put it out there. If you
notice though, with the whole Roman push and everything, they're kind of using the reality as the story, because now you have Steph coming out saying, we're done pushing you. We've given you too many opportunities and this and that. And then the crowd kind of gets behind that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I think this is eventually going to turn. I think this is going to lead to an official Roman heel turn.
That would be nice.
It's got to happen. But,
it's just interesting to me, like the whole Roman Reigns thing. They've tried so many different ways, and the only real thing, and this is going to sound real shitty, especially for a guy like Roman who wants to get out there and work, but how can I miss you if you won't go away?
Yeah.
When he got popped for steroids and he had the oblique injury, or he tore his the muscle in his abdomen or whatever it was, he had something and he was out like 9 months. When he came back, people were hot for it. Just go away for a little while. Just go, like take a vacation, go somewhere, and then come back. But come back different. Come back without the vest. Get a new tattoo. I don't know. Try something out. Put a blonde streak in your hair and knee John Cena in the face. It worked for Seth Rollins.
What do you think about this? Because I have heard a rumor floating around of a potential new faction.
Oh, what is this?
Roman and the Usos.
They've talked about this. They just why didn't they do it?
Well,
that's like when you talk about,
but it's never too late.
It's not. It's like Bray and Bo Dallas. Why have they never put them together? Just do it does make sense, and I think that would be such a good heel group. Like the Shield could be the babyface group that Roman aligns with, that the other two guys help him get over, because that was really the only way he got over with the Shield, was the other two guys helped him out. The Usos, the fans already like him, but they can boo him as heels. Unlike the Shield right now, they would never be able to turn the Shield heel, really. So the two Samoan, bodyguards, basically, or your hype men, because that would be such an interesting thing if they had, if they remixed Roman's and put like a beat behind it, and then all of a sudden the Usos, the two Uso brothers, are rapping Roman to the ring. He's a big dog. Yeah, he's a big dog. Yeah, he's a big dog. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm just picturing that in my head. And they write a whole rap about him being the big dog. And one of them barks. It would be a whole thing. It would be they could wear those suits from WrestleMania. They were wearing like a jacket and pants, but no shirt. And then they had the white sneakers, and they kind of look like LL Cool J from '92. Like, that would be the look. They could just do that and talk about him being a big dog. Roman wouldn't have to say a word. He wouldn't have to do anything. He would just have to go out and wrestle the thing and do the stuff that he's good at. Then the Usos could just do all the talking for him. It's really, it's brilliant.
Pretty smart.
I think that I really think a remix of it. He needs a new theme. That's the whole thing. If they take him in, they would need to write it something like they have to have backstage. And I apologize to everybody for my attempt at trying to sound like an Uso right now, but okay, because I can either do like a black voice, or I can do like a stereotypical Brutta Hawaiian voice, and there's no good. So they're backstage and they go, "Hey, yo, cuz." Roman's like, "What's up, baby girl?" Oh, I mean, sorry, what's up, cousin? Because you like to say baby girl a lot. But the Uso is like, "Yo, we got to get you some new threads, Ben. We need to get you some new kicks," and be like, "We need to get you in like in style." Like, and they take him shopping, and then all of a sudden they can even do like a little shopping montage. Who gives a fuck? But the Usos help bring that side of him out, and like he slowly changes into, like, he starts off with the traditional Roman Reigns stuff and like changes his outfit. The boots are different one week, the trunks, and then one day he gets rid of the vest, and then they wrestle a 6-man match, and they all come out in matching stuff, and you're like, holy shit, Roman looks completely different now. He doesn't need to wear a grill in his mouth, but they could evolve this character past what it is. John Cena changes t-shirt colors every 4 months. So, I mean, at least he's doing something. It's still color changes, but it's something. They don't do anything with Roman. What is the difference between the Roman Reigns of 2018 and the Roman Reigns of 2014? Oh, wait.
Whining.
There is none.
There we go. We got
But
one
that's
answer.
the
There is no
problem.
one. He's whining. Yeah, there's no evolution.
All right.
If you're this upset at your job 4 or 5 years into what is supposed to be your main event push, and this is real life, you either tell somebody off and you like do like a heel turn, or you quit and you go become the champion of like Impact or Ring of Honor. You say, screw you, WWE. And the WWE has the ability to do any of that. If they picked up the phone and called Ring of Honor or New Japan and said, hey, Roman Reigns wants to work with you for a little while. Ding, ding. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that. It's weird that they have this guy, and I understand wanting a character to be consistent, but The Rock evolved. Stone Cold evolved. Kurt Angle evolved. Triple H evolved.
Undertaker.
The Undertaker is probably one of the biggest examples of that. I mean, the guy had long black hair forever, and then one day just cut his hair short and started riding a motorcycle.
And chewing tobacco.
Yeah, it was making Tommy Dreamer drink it.
Oh, that was so gross.
But it was just like,
That was gross.
we're listing all of the Edge. Edge is a great example of a guy that Mick Foley,
Shawn Michaels.
and those guys all had mid-card gimmicks, and they were main event talent.
Anyone hear a horrible echo all of a sudden?
Yes.
I do.
Huh. I don't think it's me. I don't know.
Me.
Somebody mute
What's going on?
this.
No, I hear it again.
No, I hear it. All right. Does somebody have a speaker on instead of headphones? That's usually what it is.
I don't know how to change
Oh, okay.
that.
I think it's. Oh, you can just turn down the speaker.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
Sounds better
I
now,
don't
though.
hear it anymore.
Yeah, I don't hear it now.
Whatever happened, we fixed it. Congratulations, everybody. but
I'll take credit.
there you go. Congratulations. Thank you, Ryan. But yeah, man, there were guys who needed a gimmick change in order to break through from the mid card to the main event. Roman already broke through into the main event and didn't change. That's the glaring issue there.
I got another one, Kurt Angle.
Yeah, Kurt Angle is. Think of all the stuff he went through. He was Kurt Angle, the Olympic champion, legit badass guy, and then he was like wearing a tiny hat and singing along with Stone Cold,
Kumbaya,
right? And then all of a sudden he gained confidence and was spraying him with milk, and then he lost that match to Edge and shaved his head. And then when he shaved his head, he became a whole other. There was a whole. Then when he shaved his head,
machine.
He was like a goofy. He was wearing the wig under the wrestling helmet for a little while. Then he became the wrestling machine. Then he went to TNA and he was still kind of the wrestling machine, but he was all hopped up on pills, so he did even crazier stunts and shit. Oh, it was like he just he changed every. It was like every 18 months, maybe not even, probably every year. He changed.
Thing is, too, even though with all the pills and everything, some of his greatest matches were in TNA,
and I think that was part of it. That dulled, like he was probably in a lot of pain, and it helped him get through.
I mean,
those some crazy matches.
Those matches he had with Samoa Joe, and those matches he had with AJ Styles are some of the best matches that you could ever see. Go on YouTube and watch them if you haven't seen them, because they are worth watching.
There were the other matches I would really recommend were Desmond Wolfe, and that's what's his name from Ring of Honor. Now he's with NXT and he's 205.
Yeah, he had to retire from the ring.
Yeah, why can't I remember his Ring of Honor name? I don't know, but anyway, Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel, yep.
And yeah, those were fantastic matches. That was right before he had to retire, and I wish he didn't have to because he was a hell of a wrestler.
Great in the ring. Oh, he was phenomenal.
And he wrestled a great series with Kurt Angle coming in. That was his debut. They're like, we're going to put you with Kurt Angle. That's how much we have faith in you. And he did a promo where he was in a bar, and he kind of looked like 007, and he was cutting the promo while drinking a drink in the bar, and Kurt Angle was watching it from the ring, and then Desmond Wolfe snuck up behind him because it was a pre-taped promo. It was like nobody does that shit anymore. That was brilliant. It's a pre-taped promo. He's looking this way, bang, you get him. All the promos are pre-taped. More people should be jumped.
This is when TNA was on fire too.
They were on fire.
I mean, they really, like, at that point they had potential to really be big, and then just Dixie Carter. But that's a story for another time.
They say Hulk Hogan fucked it up, and that is a story for another time. We're gonna have a whole episode about that because people blame Bischoff and Hogan, and it wasn't just Bischoff and Hogan. Okay?
No, it definitely wasn't, and it's an easy scapegoat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We can dive into that another time, but
yeah,
because you're right. That'd be a whole show.
Maybe I should get a picture up of the Lashley sisters.
Fucking man.
Oh yeah.
Now, I was actually kind of looking forward to what was going to happen.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be a train wreck when they announced it last week.
I knew it was going to be a train wreck, but I was kind of hoping that maybe they hired 3 women to play his sisters, and that Sammy got, because I think this could have been, if not funny, it could have been a really good heel segment to get heat if the thing was Sammy got 3 women to come out and say the nastiest, meanest shit they could about Bobby Lashley and just roast him and be like, oh, when he was a kid, he was a pervert. He used to look at me when I was in the shower. He was a little creep. And then move on to the next sister. And like, I don't know, just like say, and just over the top meat, like shit that you know, Bob, it wouldn't be about Bobby Lashley. Make it so over the top.
Just use the men to do that.
Right. Instead, we get those gentlemen ish. I had
some hope when they had the mustaches and everything, and I thought they'd just go over the top.
And listen, just for the record, we have absolutely no problem with men wearing dresses.
No, the problem is
this segment. It was
I didn't say that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's the way they were. It was even the way they were portrayed, because it's not transgendered people. It's not transvestites or cross-dressers. It's men, straight men. The gag is right. Yeah. And this is a time, if you did this in like 1972, if you did it in 1992, if you did it in 2002, if you did it in 2012, maybe, But the closer you get to 2018, you can't pull this shit off anymore. It kind of makes me sad, but it's not. Here's the problem. It wasn't good enough for me to get on my high horse about how comedy has changed in 2018, because it has. If it was good,
it wasn't even funny.
Right. It was terrible. If it was good and it didn't get over, I'd have a problem with it, with people not responding to it. But that was not fun, wasn't funny. It just wasn't. It just, and usually, I mean, Guys in the Dress is an easy laugh. So you fucked that up.
Yeah.
And even just the picture of what looks like a slave auction right now. Like,
oh my God.
Why is Sami Zayn looks so bad standing in the ring, associating himself with this circumstance? I would have left. If I was Sami, I just would have called in sick. I appreciate that he went out there and did his job, because I couldn't have accepted that as it was and just said, all right, we're going to go out and do it. I would have rewrote it. I would have tried to change lines and pitch something different. I don't know what happens backstage. I'm sure Sami Zayn just enjoys his paycheck and the fact that he has a very nice job and is a major celebrity. But I just would have, we got to talk about that. Like, I would have sat down with somebody. We got to talk about this. We got to fix it. We got to fix it. Because there was a way to make this good. And again, we start with the assumption that we had to do cross dressers. Let's take that out of the equation. If they just did 3 women and got lines and got good lines, wrote good lines for the women to deliver, to the point where you think, oh, these are really, sell it like they're really Bobby Lashley's sisters, and then do like a backstage segment where Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are paying them because they found they were actresses that they found on LinkedIn or something. You know what I mean? Like something like that. There was a way that wasn't the way. That just wasn't the way. I have no more energy to expend on this. I want someone, if somebody else wants to take it, please do, because the only thing I can say is there was a way for this to be funny or interesting or to get heat. It did none of that. So that somebody else take the floor.
I have absolutely nothing to say. It was the worst segment of Raw.
Now here's the thing: what was worse? Was it Bobby Lashley's interview about his sisters, or this segment with his sisters that was worse?
Oh, this segment.
Because that was a pretty rough.
I could watch the Bobby Lashley interview for the rest of my life if I didn't have to watch this.
But Bobby Lashley stared into the camera like a Westworld cyborg, delivering his lines. It was just an odd segment. Like, it was supposed to be endearing, and he's like, I love my sisters. We're like, what are you doing to your sisters? Leave your sisters alone. I love my sisters, man. No, leave them alone, Bobby. That's kind of the feeling you got from it. Like, he was
no, Bobby, no.
No. It was just, the whole handling. All right.
Like that, Bobby, no.
You've got a 6.5 foot, 350-pound, jacked to the gills, handsome African-American guy. He ticks all the boxes. He can wrestle. He learned how to talk in the last 10 years since he left the WWE. He's a complete character. He's a good-looking guy who fulfills a lot of demographics in terms of women would like him, kids would like him. He's like a giant superhero guy. He's basically like an African-American kind of John Cena type build. But they fucked it up. This is a home run. It is on a silver platter. They deliver Bobby Lashley to you from the obscurity of TNA. You go, this guy has improved so much in the last 10 years. Let's just put him on TV and run him into the fucking ground in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, they killed it. 2 weeks. Him and Drew McIntyre. At least Drew McIntyre he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win. I know we're talking about Braun's going to win, but
Drew McIntyre is going to go big.
McIntyre's going to blow up huge, and Bobby Lashley should blow up just as huge, but they're fucking him up.
He will.
He will eventually.
He has to get past this bullshit, and he will. I don't have any doubt.
He's going to they're going to hold Sami Zayn in the air for a delayed vertical suplex for at least 60 seconds.
But then he's going to get vertigo again.
I feel like we should make a prop bet on how many seconds Bobby Lashley holds up Sami Zayn for a vertical suplex. And And don't base it on the audience's counting. I want somebody to go back and time it, and then we'll do like an over under on the spreadsheet for how long Bobby Lashley holds Sami Zayn up. But I feel like that's going to be a fun match because Sami Zayn is so much smaller than Bobby. He's going to be able to throw him around like a rag doll and he's going to look really good. Like I think the match is going to be good, and it's not all going to be Sammy just selling for Bobby, but the parts where Sammy's going to sell for Bobby and take like a big bump or get thrown, because I'm picturing some kind of body slam or something where Bobby Lashley picks up Sami Zayn and just throws him for like 25 feet, just like a lawn dart, because he's lighter and skinnier and aerodynamic. He could just throw him like a javelin. And I'm picturing all of this in my head. Like, this could be a really, like, the match is great. Put aside the terrible segments here, and just look at the two guys, and they're both superstars, and the match itself is going to be great. The build-up is they took Shelton's mama and cut her into thirds. That's what they did. I'd rather have Shelton's mama back. That's how I feel about it.
I think she passed away, actually. That woman, anyway, that
played. Right.
Well.
Of course. If she did, poor Thea Vidal. She was nice. So, Fox. Not Fox Sports 1, not Fox Sports 2. Fox. The network. The network that competes with NBC and ABC and shows the NFL will be promoting and airing SmackDown, which immediately makes SmackDown the A show, which immediately tells me that Roman Reigns, and this takes it with a grain of salt, but I'm gonna put it out there now. Roman Reigns moves to SmackDown once that deal is done.
Oh yeah,
because they want the stars on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing is, Steve, you mentioned this earlier, and we can talk about this. You heard that not only pay-per-views, which I did hear, they were going to 4 hours. You heard that SmackDown was going to 3 to accommodate the Fox deal. I heard that Fox's Friday night primetime only goes until 10 p.m. because they have the local news. So,
hey, listen,
they only have 2 hours. I hope I hope you're wrong too, because from 8 to 10 would be perfect on a Friday night for Fox Network. Because I don't think they could. Would they do it to 7 to 10? Ugh, I don't think they do that. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them.
But $1 billion deal over 5 years.
That's so nice.
It's incredible.
And they're chalking it up to live. It's a live event.
Mm-hmm.
And while people do DVR and watch back live events, I guess the research is showing that sit down live viewership of a let's say a scripted television show is much lower than the live viewing audience of a sporting event or a live event that they really only, you catch one. It's a unique experience, the live events. So they tend to have live viewers rather than DVR'd viewers, and that means more people are watching the advertisements rather than fast forwarding through them. And it just means in general, like the audience isn't skipping through it as much. Like with a baseball game or a football game, you're sitting there, you're watching the whole game, and you're tolerating the advertisements, unless you have Red Zone, like I do, because I don't tolerate advertisements. But it's a big move, and Meltzer's speculation is that it'll be the A show. Talk about Roman Reigns possibly going to SmackDown, and also, and I mentioned this earlier. And I'll attribute this to Meltzer as well, but you can draw this conclusion anyway. They're going to make so much money from this deal, they don't have to give a shit about the crowd reactions to anything. They can force Roman Reigns down our throats for the next 5 years and still make $1 billion. Still make $1 billion. It's insane, and they will. That's what they will do. They will burn it to the ground, and not in a Seth Rollins good way. They're just going to burn it to the ground, and
but I gotta be honest, I think to an extent they're still gonna listen. They do give a shit. I mean, listen, I know
the way they're gonna listen is if people
because of Roman and everything else, but you know, they do listen. Look at what happened to the women. That's a perfect example. So, I mean, they do listen to a point, and I don't think that will change. I just don't.
Yeah, and now the other thing was the pay-per-views. The WWE apparently has alerted foreign pay-per-view providers that the pay-per-views are now going to be 4 hours rather than 3 hours.
Fucking hours.
Where's that stapler I had just had a minute ago? I'm going to put it in my fucking eye again. Why, God, why? It's too much. And the worst part is with Dave Meltzer explained something last week too. Thank you, Dave, for doing all of this research so I don't have to. The television deal that they're going to get for Raw, one episode of Raw is going to make them more than a pay-per-view event once that new deal kicks in. So again, pay-per-views are irrelevant, basically, to the bottom line of the WWE. They can do it. That's why they do so many fucky finishes now, because it's a $10 investment rather than a $59 investment or $64.99 investment, whatever it is. And with a lower financial stake, the viewer, they found, will be more accepting of fucky finishes in the main events because, well, I only paid $10 for it. Oh, and if I don't like it, I can go watch something else on the network. So they're mitigating their bad finishes with other content.
The true wrestling fans will be insulted by that theory.
And yet here we are. Because I can tell you, I watch the pay-per-view and then I go and find Tony Schiavone's podcast and watch a WCW pay-per-view, which it might have stunk, but it was at least 1991, and we understood why the Battle Bowl was bad, and we can laugh at it now. In 2018, when you get Battle Bowl style stuff in 2018, and you get the Visigoths against the Romans, and you get three men dressed as women, we should be past this stuff. Is what I'm saying. We should be past it. They should know they've been in business for so long. It should be fine-tuned at this point. Survivor's got 37 seasons, and they got it down. You solve a puzzle, you light a torch, you balance on a thing, whatever. They've got the calculations are down. The McMahon family's been doing wrestling since like the 1800s. It should be a simple science at this point. They should know exactly what to do, and yet they seem to make a hard left turn at the reasonable conclusion every single time. I don't understand why. They've been in business for 200 years. Jesse McMahon was promoting boxing and wrestling in the 1800s, and then Vincent, and then Vince. But anyway, it was just I don't understand. It makes me sad because it's almost like we're gifted with too much knowledge of everything. And I feel like maybe that's the same thing with TV in general is you know so much about contracts and like you heard about like here I'll provide a television example. NCIS. If you don't watch NCIS, it's CSI but with the Navy. Anyway,
great show.
Yeah, it's a good show. But it's an investigative show. And Abby, who's one of the forensic people, you heard for so long about contract, this and that, and she's leaving at the end of the season, blah, blah, blah. You knew like a year before her last episode aired that she was going off the show. And you get to hear all of the things about, oh, Mark Harmon brought his dog to the set, and she didn't like the dog because it was a pit bull, but he kept it on the set, and she got mad. Like, who? I don't need this much information about people's lives. I don't care. If there was less of that out there, because we have access to so much information, you can draw conclusions and paths as to where things are going. So there's all this information about the contracts out there and the T-shirts that Roman Reigns sells compared to AJ Styles and this and that, where you can see, okay, if SmackDown's the A show and it's $1 billion show, we're going to have John Cena on the show, we're going to have Roman Reigns on the show, we're going to have all the big names on the show. And then Raw is going to all of a sudden be the back burner show. But Raw is also making a very nice amount of money on the USA Network because they provide 3 hours of content for USA and get a lot of advertisers. So you can't treat Raw like the B show, I don't think.
To Vince McMahon, Raw will still always be a show.
I believe you're right too, but I think it's gonna change. Things are gonna be different once Fox gets involved. things are going to be different because you're now network standards and practices and things are different for broadcast television than they are for cable television in terms of the content you can provide. It's going to be an interesting 5 years for SmackDown, and I hope it lasts that long. I hope there's not something that gums up the works, and they because Fox, I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but Fox just has kind of a trigger finger for canceling stuff.
Yeah,
they like to just cancel shit. They canceled Family Guy how many times?
5 times.
Yeah, so I mean,
Futurama, something like another 4.
But so think about that. Do you what happens if SmackDown in 2 years isn't doing the numbers that they want? They cancel SmackDown. Where does it go? Does it go back to USA? Does it go to Sci-Fi?
Well, USA would probably always take him back. I mean, you know, the relationship they've had,
not get anywhere near the same amount of money.
The relationship that they've had with the USA Network for so long, you know what I mean? There's a loyalty there too.
Yeah. It's just the Fox thing. The reason the Fox thing was weird for me.
Ryan, we're getting an echo again.
So the reason the Fox thing really bugs, is not bugs, but it is kind of a bugaboo for me, is just knowing what I know about the network, and they kind of have a happy trigger finger. They canceled Firefly. I mean, there's so many shows that had potential that were on Fox that got cut loose early. The only advantage is this is an established franchise, so SmackDown can go to another network. But I just I don't want it to go and then be a flop, because there's still mainstream perception that wrestling is for nerds and kids, and the only adults who like it are children. No offense, Ryan. But you know what I mean? There's still a stigma amongst wrestling fans, and if maybe this will break it, because if more mainstream people start watching, and then maybe they have, oh God, what if they brought like Total Bellas or Total Miz or whatever it is to Fox as a reality show, as like a lead-in or something. And then I'll have they have the program for the women's programming, quote unquote, even though men watch Total Divas too. Steve.
I was waiting for that.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like you could almost have, if it becomes a good relationship, Fox loves reality programming. They could put one of the reality programs on Fox and have it be another avenue to get mainstream WWE viewers. Now, the thing I want to know is, and I'm not friends with a lot of women. Maybe you've guessed, I run a wrestling podcast, not friends with a lot of women. So, Amanda, I'm gonna have to ask this one to you. Do you know anybody, and maybe Steve, because you're married, and then by extension you'll know more women, through schools and stuff, and other connections. But do you know any people, women specifically, that have watched a Total Divas or a Total Bellas and then become wrestling fans? Does it go that way, or does it only go one way, where you're already familiar with them from wrestling, so you're going to watch a reality show about their real life?
In my opinion, the ones that I run into were already wrestling fans.
Okay.
And then wanted to watch it,
I mean, I have friends that don't watch wrestling, but they do watch Total Bellas and Total Divas.
Really?
And they'll only know what I'm talking about if I post something about John Cena or Nikki Bella or anybody that's on the cast of Total Divas. They're like, oh no, what's happening with her?
And that's a whole subset that I guess I didn't consider, is that they're just reality show people who will just watch the reality show. But I mean, you don't know. That's weird to me that they don't know them from anywhere, but they'll watch their reality show. Okay, but it's a good. No, it's more eyes. But I mean,
it is an entertaining reality show. I'll give it that.
Compared to other similar shows, it's actually like an entertaining.
Similar, the way that they've done it is very similar to Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay.
Yes, very similar to that.
Thank you, reality show expert Steve. Did anybody get questions from Kat? Like, if we have any Ask the War Report questions, because she's away right now. I guess now's a good time to say, I've had Bobby Lashley's family up here for way too long. But anyway, it's a good enough time as any to say if you have a question for us, AskTheWarReport@gmail.com or hashtag AskTheWarReport, and tag us on social media at TagMeADate. And we'll, if your question was read on air, you will be entered into our WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em, where once a month we select not necessarily the best question, but one that maybe is the most interesting, the one that gets the best conversation, the one that's the funniest. I don't know. Something has to stick out about your question, and you will be entered into the Wrestle Rumble pay-per-view pick'em for the month. You'll get one free entry, and it's awesome. I've got the website up here, WrestleRumble.com, so you can enter there and win all kinds of prizes, cash, championship belts, all kinds of stuff. Subscriptions to
There's
things.
There's going to be two pick'ems this month because they're also doing a takeover before.
Oh, there you go.
In the bank.
That's fantastic. That's good to hear. So yeah, WrestleRumble.com. If you don't win an entry from AskTheWarReport@gmail.com, you can just go to WrestleRumble.com and sign up. But do we have any? Did she send any through?
She didn't send any through.
That's fine.
If you did send one, we'll address your question next week.
We'll do a mailbag next week. And just mailbag it out. So now you've got time now. If you want to think of a question between.
I got a question.
Ooh.
All right.
It
says, with SmackDown moving to Fox on Friday night starting in October, is it a disaster for USA Network to not have the blue brand on their network anymore? You might have.
Oh, geez. What are they going to do? Play 2 more episodes of Chrisley? That's all you got to do is pop in 2 more Chrisley episodes.
So, wait. So the question is really, does it hurt the USA Network if SmackDown's gone? I don't think so. USA Network has a lot of great shows, and now a lot of their summer shows are, not summer, but spring and summer shows are starting to come back, and some real popular ones. I can't imagine it hurts the network at all.
No.
If it would, they would have bid. The thing is, you look at it this way: the bid was ridiculous by Fox. It really was. It's unprecedented for a wrestling company to get $1 billion. That $1 billion. That's the same, basically around what the UFC was bought for.
Right, and quite honestly, if it was that important for the USA Network to keep SmackDown, they would have come up with an offer. So, and obviously, $1 billion is a ridiculous number. But if it was that important, they would have figured something out. So I don't think it hurts them in the long run. I don't.
Yeah, I know. I just had a thought that the Google search in Stamford, Connecticut, or Greenwich, Connecticut, like the top Google search in that area was how to clean cum off mahogany, but in Spanish. Because I think everybody, all the cleaning ladies in Titan Tower had to look that one up because they flipped open their phones, and they saw $1 billion, and Vince just went, and that was it. The desk was ruined. $1 billion. Like, what do you do? What do you do, Steve? If Fox calls you up and says, we're buying Tag Me a Date for $1 billion, I mean, which end does it come out first? Do you poop first? What happens? Like, I don't know. What's the react? What could they have possibly done when they heard it was $1 billion? What was that celebration?
It comes out of every orifice.
I mean, I can tell you if it was for Tag Me a Date, I think I would, I'd throw up first.
There you go. That's the response.
That would be followed up by shitting myself. And then I would most likely pass out.
Oh, there you go. Okay. He rounds it out with passing out in his own vomit.
Yeah, the passing out would happen. And then when I come to and I realize that it wasn't a dream and that it was all real.
Do it all over again.
Yeah, probably. Some hyperventilating would probably come into play.
Holy shit,
yeah. I don't really know. It would be crazy, but I would also have that same reaction with less than $1 billion. Just
yes, yeah.
So you know,
right? We'll take a couple million. I think, low 2-digit millions. We'll take that. That's fine. Just keep us on and let us keep doing the podcast.
Amen.
and pay us money for it. I guess that's, that goes without saying. But yeah, I don't think it'll affect the bottom line of USA because, like we've already said, they would have made a more aggressive offer if they felt like that was the case. And in my mind, I just feel like they're gonna. USA Network has in the past, and I know it's different now that the shows have turned over in terms of which ones are still running, because like Suits is wrapping up, and Blue Collar's over. And
Suits is wrapping up because their main actress is a princess now.
Yes. And but it's like Psych is done. All the shows that USA were known for pretty much wrapping up. I feel like they're gonna hit a whole new crop of original programming. Like that's probably what they probably looked at and went, we could spend this money licensing out 2 hours a week from the WWE, or we could take that same money and produce like 20 pilots and see which series get picked up and made into real series. So I feel like there was a balance in there, and plus Raw is still the big one. They looked at it this way: they go, it gets good ratings, but it doesn't get as good a rating as Raw. And even if we move it to Friday, it's still not going to get as good a number as Raw, and it'll get a bigger number on a Friday on a broadcast network versus a cable network, because you still, even though everybody pretty much has a flat screen TV nowadays and everybody pretty much has cable nowadays, the basic networks are NBC, ABC, Fox, and your MyTV9s or CWs or whatever. You get a couple, that's the basic stuff. Everybody gets the traditional broadcast networks. So there's more opportunity for them, even though the next tier up is basic cable, which USA is on, but it's still a jump, and some people don't necessarily have USA Network. Everybody's got Fox, so that's where USA might go, we don't have the money to compete, and we understand it's going to do a better rating just by the fact there's more opportunity and more potential eyes. So I think they understood, and I don't think there's any heat, and I think USA is going to continue to keep WWE programming, including Raw and whatever other specials they want to air on their networks until it doesn't benefit them anymore. And right now, it's really beneficial.
Having more viewers for SmackDown can help Raw.
Yeah, it could feed into Raw and maybe make Raw a little bit bigger. I think it really, and I know that none of this is going to happen, but I mean, like, do a storyline where Ric Flair comes in and buys SmackDown and turns it into WCW. And then it's a whole different company and operates as a different. Do something to differentiate the wrestling on Raw from the wrestling on SmackDown, aside from the fact that one's blue and one's red. Make it a different program.
That would be brilliant, but we all know.
Or even just present it in a different way, because they've got Fox on board now, and they're going to be previewing this stuff. There's potential that you're going to hear Joe Buck doing WWE SmackDown previews during Sunday football. You're watching Fox on Sundays, and you hear Joe Buck or whoever it is doing the call, plugging SmackDown.
That's true.
You've got Fox Sports 1 is going to do segments. They're going to interview people like ESPN's been doing, but now Fox Sports 1, there's going to be a relationship there. You're going to see more WWE personalities, not necessarily just wrestlers, but all the personalities showing up on these sports shows, talking about the pay-per-view, talking about what's going to happen on SmackDown, to plug the fact that it's on one of their sister networks. There's a whole relationship there where, like, the UFC has it right now. They've got a UFC Tonight, and they put like fighters on the panel. They can do the same thing with WWE, and then all of a sudden that's another program and another piece of that relationship, a WWE preview program on Fox Sports 1. But take that and present SmackDown on Fox like a sporting event. Make the graphics more sharp and more Fox Sports like. Maybe have some fun, integrate some of the Fox Sports elements. Do scores for other sporting events. Have sit down interviews. Have the Joe Bucks or the other commentators from other sports come in and do an interview with somebody like John Cena sitting down with Bob Costas or something. And just to use an outlandish example, but things like that, present it so it's not just this. We're holding our iPhones and cutting a promo thing.
Yeah.
Now I hate. By the way, did you see that? They're not even holding the cameras. They're not even. There was a promo with Primo, and if you look this up, there's and it's on. I think it's on WWE's YouTube page. There's a promo with Primo where the camera shakes like it would if it were in your hand, quote unquote, but it shakes too far to the right and shows that there's nothing in Primo's hand. He's just holding his arm out so that the WWE camera person can pretend that they're the iPhone camera. That happened. That's a real thing that happened. And they put it up on the internet. Instead of just deleting it and moving on with their day, they put it up on the internet.
It's not like taking an iPhone video would take that much time and effort.
Right. You could always try it again. And even if you wanted to do it with a fake arm, fake cameraman, which I don't even understand. But if you wanted to do it that way, just do another take. It's a fucking 30-second promo. Just do another take. It's so weird. But yeah, I don't think, and again, this is another thing where Fox, where they're paying $1 billion, they're expecting a certain type of programming. Maybe Fox steps in and say, listen, this shit's got to go. You got to change up the graphics. You got to change up the. I feel like Fox has to talk to them and say that there has to be changes made. But
you got to ditch the text on the screen.
I bring me the head of that person. I want to drink wine out of it. That's how I feel. Now, Steve, you want to wrap up here at 8, or you still or the Rascals are at Dave and Buster's, or what?
That was on Sunday.
That was Sunday.
Yeah,
okay.
We should definitely wrap it up. We got SmackDown started, and we got Daniel Bryan versus Jeff Hardy, which should be.
Oh yeah.
Because Big Cass. Yeah, we'll mention this. Big Cass, who in here is potentially legitimately injured from a house show.
See, but I'm hearing that's a work.
This would be a brilliant extra layer because you would have to know to read house show reports and then know how they treat an injury at a house show because the referee walked him back during the middle of the match. He didn't fight out the injury and go through the rest of the match.
And he played it well too. If you watch the video, he starts smacking the apron again, oh shit, I can't believe it kind of thing. Like he played it well.
I hope, you know what? If it's a work, I will applaud the shit out of their work. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna open that up. We're 2 minutes in. So listen, follow Tag Me a Date on social media at Tag Me a Date, all one word, no spaces. Tag Me a Date, take the spaces out, squish it together. Same thing on YouTube. When you go to YouTube, you go into the search bar, Tag Me a Date, all one word. You'll find our Tag Me a Date channel where you can subscribe and hit the bell. Really encourage you to hit the bell because it sends you a notification when we go live or upload a new video. And if you have a question that you'd like read on the air and be entered into our WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em contest, it's AskTheWarReport at gmail.com or hashtag AskTheWarReport on social media. We just spent a couple minutes discussing a question that one of you sent into us, so thank you for that, and you are entered into our pay-per-view pick'em contest. We are live every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. Adjust your schedules accordingly, or they do get archived on YouTube. As soon as we're done, YouTube does its magic and saves the video. So if you don't watch it live Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time, you can still just go back to our Tag Me a Date YouTube page and watch this week's show, watch last week's show, go back in the archives, see what we were complaining about last year at this time. Be an interesting experiment to see what's changed and what hasn't changed in the last year if you go back and listen to one of our older podcasts. So on behalf of everybody here, hope you guys have a good week, and I hope you do like and subscribe and follow Tag Me a Date everywhere, and also sign up for tagmeadate.com. It's absolutely free to sign up. You can upload a picture, upload a promo video, search for your tag team partner by your favorite wrestler, your favorite manager, favorite tag team, favorite pay-per-view, and more. Send messages and emojis and all kinds of kissy faces and shit. You can do it. It's free at tagmeadate.com. So we'll be right back here on YouTube next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. And this has been the War Report. Thank you for listening.